Yeah, he's very authentic and so intelligent, and it's such a pleasant surprise that he's now the underdog to watch. I think everyone was assuming that Beto would be, but in terms of on the white man scale, Pete Buttigieg brings such a new perspective, being that he's an openly gay man and was when he was elected to mayor of South Indiana, he's the youngest mayor ever, and he does it's everything from just like that he met his husband on an app, to just the way him and his husband use social media. I think it's been really refreshing for us to have a candidate like this.
Yeah, I'm excited. The field right now is so deep, so it's hard for me to get like too excited about one candidate. I'm somebody who will lock back in when the debates start happening. We get to see all these people go head to head. But it is exciting to see somebody who it just seems like he has all these different layers. And so he is still a white guy, but he's I think there's more entry points for me that I'm like interested in hearing his perspectives. Although, he's not perfect. He did have this plan in his hometown of demolishing 1,000 homes in 1,000 days. Those happen to be in communities of color. And so he's sort of more data-driven instead of emotionally driven. And those communities have had to rebound, and there's actually a woman named Regina Williams-Preston who's running for his office because she was a black woman who had investment properties in those communities that she lost money on. So again, nobody's perfect. I just want to point out, we're really excited, but I think I need somebody who's looking very holistically, and like those are the issues that are important.
Well, I think it's a clear, I don't even say a blind spot, but I think what shortcoming is his advocacy for people of color, just because he's really great at speaking to working class white people, because where he's predominantly where he's mayor from, but also as a feminist, and I love Pete. I have to say though, it kind of shows, men get promoted off of like prospect and their potential. Women get promoted when they've spent 25 years working their ass off. And I think it's funny when Senator Kamala Harris announced she's to be president, people go, I don't know if she's ready. She's only been a senator for a few years. She was the attorney general to the most populous state in the country. And I say, Hillary Clinton, was she ready? Girl, she's been working for 55 years. She was like, it's like women, like what more do women have to do? And it's interesting that the first millennial candidate is a man. And I think that kind of points to like how we still view women, that women have to do so much to even be considered potentially viable.
But he's a mayor of a city that has 100,000 people. He ran for DNC chairman, didn't win. His political background is not really that impressive. We like him as a person, but I don't know what his chops are. I don't know what his plans are. Has he announced any, like what are his real beliefs? I've yet to see that, but I'm excited that we have these diverse candidates and that it's gonna be entertaining maybe to see how they all go up against each other, but that could also be to our detriment.
I'm so glad he made it to the debates, and having a gay man run for president is so inspiring to me, to millions of people around this country.
The beautiful thing about him though is that he has a future. So even if it's not this cycle, obviously in the future he's going to be, I think, one of the strongest members of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard, Bobby Bones is also running.
Makes sense, Bobby.
He's like, you know what we need? Another me.
Because we don't have enough politicians with glasses.
We don't enough. We had like 5 white guys announced yesterday running. But do you guys think that millennials are a voting bloc the way that they often put people of color, women of color, or Latinos, Latinas? Like, do you think we vote that way? Because I don't think we are.
No. I think a lot of millennials aren't informed. I think we vote because we like people, which is a lot of Americans do. But I don't know, I feel like when I get in political conversations with friends, there's not like people have research and they're well-read. It's more of like a instinct instead of like looking at the platforms and things that really affect their lives.
And also, a lot of us really still like Senator Bernie Sanders. He has a big demographic as millennial. So I'm just interested to see, like, we all, people always talk about the millennial voting bloc is the most like untapped voting bloc in this country. That we could change this country if we all teamed together and voted. Even if the candidate, let's just say, had some email problems, we just stuck it out and voted for her. Things could be different. But so I'm always interested, like, could Pete be that person to get like all the millennials together? I don't know.
Comes down to the issues too, as well, right? I feel like we prioritize so many different things now. Like one thing, I feel like transparency and authenticity is so important. That kind of bleeds into like our lives on social media too, right? Like you see like a public figure or somebody say something that's so raw and vulnerable, and we celebrate that. I feel like we kind of want the same thing in our policymakers and our lawmakers as well, right?
That's true.
Going forward.
And to both of those points, 50% of millennials identify as independent.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's not really reassuring for him or anybody running, because it's really gonna come down to how they feel instead of
But a big population he's tapping into is the LGBTQ community. He made this speech that was really incredible where he spoke about like if he could have taken a pill that would have made him straight, he would have taken it. And then at the end of the speech, basically says like, "I'm so glad I never had that pill."
Yeah.
And it's it's inspiring. But he's been getting a lot of money from LGBTQ people. He's raised like $7 million in 2 months, which is incredible. So I think that is historic, and possibly that community will rally behind him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a civil rights issue that has been neglected by a lot of politicians. So if he can shed some light, I think that's amazing.
And speaking of it, our girl T Swift, we ragged on her. She really was out of the political fray, but she's in it now. She donated like over $100,000 to an LGBTQ advocacy group in Tennessee. So I really like that she's like really trying to improve her home state. Like that's like she really feels like that's like it's important to her to advocate for minorities in her home state.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. T Swift, we love you.
That's a no.
Okay.